It has now been 2 years since SUGA started development, and while it's been almost that long since we gave you the last development update, we have finally been able to finish most of what we wanted to work on in this major milestone update that we have christened Icicle. One of the most visually noticeable things that we've updated are the visuals. We have a new logo, a new background on the main menu, though this will be changing in a later update. Going into the main game, we've also got a new loading screen, and, as you can see on the right, we now have added in quests, including a basic tutorial. A lot of other things you can also see have changed. There are new particles, shadows, and textures for some of the elements around the world. As you can see, we've also updated the way the world generates, with now actual physical water as opposed to the slightly acidic green stuff we had before, and a new, much more fluid world generation, which is much, much nicer than the previous setup. One of the most updated things throughout SUGA's life has been the build system, and we've introduced yet another update to it with these actual pages, holding shift to build multiple of an object, and, while some items like these fences do still lock to a grid, items like the beds and the furnaces and the crafting tables all can now be placed much, much more fluidly and freely. Here in the options menu you can now also see we have added auto-saving, which means you no longer lose progress if you were to die without having saved previously, and this can be set between various times, including off and up to an hour in between. We've also been hard at work on the story for SUGA, and as you can see we've added another boss to the game. Not going to show you his boss fight either, as it's still relatively work in progress, but it is definitely coming along nicely. As part of the water update, we've added new water effects for when you drop an item into the water, rather than it just disappearing, and as you can see from the tent on the lower right, we've also now added NPCs. These are still somewhat basic, but they do introduce quests for fetching them items and sending them to tents, and they also, once been led to a tent, have the ability to sell and buy items from you. This allows for much more open gameplay, and an easier way to get resources that you might have lost owing to mismanagement of your animals. So, in 2 minutes I've been able to go over 10 months worth of work. It's been quite a lot of work to get here, a lot of bugs have been found along the way, and it hasn't been the smoothest of developments for many of these features, mostly NPCs, which did have a slight habit of going invisible and walking off the edge of the map. But that is now mostly sorted. We're also a two-man team, one who does the artwork and one who does literally everything else, so it is definitely going to be slow progress. We are making good progress, however. We have a clear roadmap out towards the release of the game, and we're hoping that maybe within the next year, maybe year and a half, we'll be able to have SUGA out, released, and available for purchase. But until then, we're going to keep working on it. Thank you for sticking with us through this, and we'll see you all next time.